We have officially created a working carburetor system for the engines. So first, let me show you why. In engines like these that I've made, I use water buckets to put out the fire because the fire lasts too long and it doesn't create a signal, so the pistons won't continue to go. So I use the water and the fire, water then fire, and then it keeps continuing the signal. But instead of using whole entire water buckets, they take too long to despawn, the water does. So then the fire's sitting there trying to keep going when the water's slowly going away. So I've changed it over to splash water bottles. So here's the first part of the carburetor. This part of the carburetor indicates 2 dispensers on each side of this water area. Under it is a hopper that leads to a barrel, but will later lead to that once it's hooked up to an engine. The engine will be powering these. It won't just be from a lever. How it works is both of these are filled up with glass water bottles. As they go, they will create water bottles. But these do not, they are not splash water bubbles, which is what we want. You cannot splash these to make a water to put out the fire. So that's where this part of the carburetor comes along. This part is an automated brewing station that will automatically turn the water bottles into splash water bottles and then send it all over, send it into the engine to put the fire out. Here's the intake. The intake, it will get the water bottles from that. It will go into here. Once this circuit detects that something is being sent over to the brewing stand, it will hurry up and go over here and activate this light. Now, this light indicates that it is now going to lock the hopper that is under the brewing stand so nothing can get in, nothing can get out of it during its brewing process. Now, when it is brewing, a small timer will be going off over here, going through all these different stages, and then it will go to this light, like the other circuit does. Now, while this light is on, once this timer gets done, it will turn the light off. So the light will no longer be making a signal, so this will turn off, unlocking this hopper to allow the finished result to get out. Now all these are test examples. Sometimes we have leaks where some stuff still gets out, but you're going to have that. The system ain't perfect. And then once it's done from there, this is your output, which will lead to the area where it will splash the water on the fire that is in the piston chamber, and then it will continue from there. Now in the middle of all this, there will be a timer. Now, there will be a battery that will be on your engine. It's like the smart engine has. And it will be timing. So this, it will only allow a certain amount of water bottles to get to this so it doesn't overload the system, so that it just keeps it open and it drains everything out. It might even get some unused water bottles in there, like just plain glass water bottles, if it's going too fast. Or just non-splash ones, like just the ones that come straight from here. So we're going to have like a little timer here that's going to look a little bit like this, that it's going to be timed. So it's going to look like this. So every part gets its fair share. So this, once it hits a certain amount, this will get like 2 seconds. That'll open that, and that, and that, and that, and that. You'll see it once the carburetor is actually hooked up to the engine itself, which will be in the next video. But that timing system will help everything go in nice and smoothly, so then it doesn't overload and blow up the flipping thing. Now, this engine is going to have to be decently sized. Probably only a 1 piston, because this only has enough. I know there was probably a way to make the timer better, but I didn't know it, so I just used whatever way I did know to do it. I try not to use as much redstone torches because I seem to mess up every single thing that I do when I use redstone torches. But yeah, the engine's gonna have to be decently sized just for a one piston. But I mean, it might be able to power two pistons. It depends on how fast the processing of the brewing stand's what slows the whole system down. Is how long the brewing stand takes to officially get it charged up. But I'm going to demonstrate it. So here we go. Remember, this is just a test example. I'm going to take this hopper that was already full of water bottles that came from there, and then it will continue through the system. As you can see, it detected it. Now it's going to close that hopper. Only 2 bottles stayed, which is perfectly fine. Now it's going to start the timer over here. Now, the timer's going to keep going. As you can see, that light's on, which is continuing to keep that area closed off. Now it's about to get here. Now shut the light off, which reopened the hatch. Now we have 2 more splash potions, and we have a couple water bottles in there. So we only got 2 good ones and 1 bad one out of that one run, which we're always going to get 2 and 1 bad out of every single run. Now the bad ones will continue to the engine. They're just going to get burnt up in the fire. So yeah, and that's how that works. I'm going to be making a video on how it looks, how it runs with an engine.